Let's bring our panel back in. It's been too long. Goldy Hyder is President and CEO of the Business Council of Canada, and Rona Ambrose is Deputy Chair at TD Securities and a former interim leader of the Conservative Party. Goldy, I wonder if we might just start there on the EV sector and the investment that we've been seeing going into some of the EV battery plants, and how the expectations for the payoff for that, it seems like it's going to be years longer than what the government was hoping. And then we just saw today Ford scaling back investment in its own battery plant in terms of how much it's going to produce there. So the market forces telling Ford that the interest in EVs, or the capacity for people to be buying EVs right now, might be pulling back, while Canada is going, full force and investing in this sector.
Well, look, we've had to place some bets, and clearly we've decided that we're going to be a part of the battery chain, supply chain, working with the auto industry and with the United States and others. And we put a lot of investment in drawing more capital here, creating jobs in local communities and so forth. What we've got to recognize, though, is that policy overarchingly also matters, that we're in an environment in which the United States of America, with the currency of the world, can do whatever it wants on the fiscal side, and nobody seems to care that much about it. And that means they can use carrots all the time. In Canada, what we do is we're trying to compete with those carrots, which is admittedly difficult to do. But you know what? We could do better if we just stop adding more sticks to the equation. We just constantly pile on policy after policy, regulation after regulation, particularly attacking an industry like the energy sector. I don't know what else to call it. It's like 10-15% of our GDP. And rather than working with that industry, helping in that transition, we've been adding on burdens. Now, the good news out of this mini fall economic statement is the ITC announcement. There seems to be some progress, at least, again, being telegraphed in some roadmap way. What are we going to do on carbon capture, utilization, and storage, for example? Because there is a tremendous opportunity here for the ingenuity and the innovation of the Canadian energy sector to do both, to be able to get the current energy that's necessary, oil, gas, to market, but also lead in the energy transition.
Rona, I wonder what you're thinking in terms of what we've been hearing on, on that side of things, but also on the economic growth side of things, the expectation that there could be a soft landing for Canada in the cards, and at least that is what the government is banking on here.
Well, you've heard from analysts that the government's projections for growth might be a bit overly optimistic, so we'll see what happens. I think the concern really is, the government is responsible for fiscal policy. And right now, they are not managing that fiscal policy in a way that's creating an environment in this country where we have higher productivity and more competitiveness. We've got, Goldy said it perfectly, we've got layer upon layer of regulations, fees, taxes. And yes, the energy sector is definitely under a ton of pressure around that in a framework like that, but so is a number of other sectors across this country. We've seen reports that we have less entrepreneurs in Canada because people don't want to start businesses because the input costs, whether it's how to pay the rent in my new shop or the energy costs to set up a shop, is just too much for young entrepreneurs to start. So I think the issue is we've got to go back to basics here. This government is not managing the fiscal policy properly. They're spending way too much. We have now, the amount of interest we're paying on this debt is the highest in recorded history. This stuff all comes back to roost. I'm a bit upset to see that the government is not taking this seriously in this fall economic update and made a clear commitment to balance the budget and to show Canadians that they are trying to earn their trust, because they take our tax money and it's their obligation to treat it with respect and in trust. And now we're seeing over the next number of years just more spending and the need to spend even more money weekly, monthly, yearly on paying off that interest on the deficit. And people are managing their households as responsibly as they can. And we're seeing the government not do the same thing. And I think that's outrageous.
Goldy, there's another point here I wanted to get your thoughts on from this statement. So to enable pension funds to more fully participate in Canada's economic growth, the economic statement announces that the government will explore removing the 30% rule from investments in Canada. So the 30% rule restricts Canadian pension funds from holding more than 30% of the voting shares of most corporations. What sort of an impact could that have?
Well, look, I think decisions to invest, whether it's a pension fund or businesses, are still looked at from a macro level. Pension companies will tell you that we just don't do enough big stuff in Canada. You don't see airports being built, you don't see ports being expanded, you don't see pipelines being built. And those kind of large infrastructure projects is what attracts pension funds because of their nature of patient capital. But overall, whether you're a pension fund or whether you're a private sector company or a startup, and you look at the big picture. The big fiscal picture here is there is no commitment whatsoever to paying down this deficit to get it to a path of a balance to zero, which means as we expose ourselves to rising interest costs, we're going to see the risks being trickled down to the people. When they talk about we, the government, are here for the people, so is the business community. The business community is saying, look, you've had your model, you've spent money, right? You've been putting it all out there. The affordability is getting worse, interest rates, inflation's still bad. Imagine if we could grow our economy. Imagine if we could create jobs, have businesses pay taxes, have individuals pay taxes, create more revenues for governments to be able to pay down that deficit, to be able to invest in people. There's a dichotomy here. Your model hasn't worked. The evidence is quite clear, and I think the story coming out of today is no plan to pay off our deficit, which means Canadians are exposed to program cuts.